I'm Elaine Heroux, and this is an introduction to dreams. Understanding your dreams, what dreams mean, and how to remember yours. Do you remember your dreams? Many people say they don't dream, and even more say, yeah, maybe I dream, but I don't remember them. Other people dismiss their dreams as being nonsensical or rubbish, or the result of a heavy meal the night before. If you're one of those people and you just dismiss your dreams or don't see any value in them, then I'm here to tell you, you're throwing away a treasure trove of information. If you would think that you would like to take this journey to start understanding your dreams, or maybe even to start remembering your dreams, I'm giving you 5 tips for dream recall. But before you even look at these tips, it's important to make that commitment to your inner life, to building a relationship with your dreaming world. If you dismiss your dreams as rubbish or crazy, they will disappear. If you nurture them and spend time with them, they will respond by showing up often and providing more and more information about your inner self. Having made the decision to take your dreams seriously and learn from them, there are 5 tips that will set the stage for your dreaming world. My name is Elaine Heroux, LCSW and Dream Healer. I have 30 years experience working with clients dealing with depression, life transitions, anxiety, near-death experiences, and other mental and emotional health concerns. I graduated from Jungian analyst Marion Woodman's Body-Soul Leadership Training Program in 2007, and I follow a therapeutic approach that is client-centered and comes from a psychological and spiritual perspective. I integrate a variety of therapeutic approaches, including Jungian-oriented therapy, cognitive therapy, internal family systems, and dream work. This is the first installment of a dream therapy spiritual guide, the rest of which will become available in time. Please sign up for my newsletter, where you'll be the first to know when the entirety of the guide is released, along with plenty of handouts and other exclusive information. In the next 20 minutes, you will learn tips for dream recall, which include how to understand the language of your dreams, what dreams are, why it's so important to pay attention to your dreams, what your dreams can teach you about your inner self, and how to parlay your dream motives into creative ventures and improve your character and mindset, and much, much more. At the end of this video course, you'll receive the opportunity to schedule a no-cost consultation with me, typically valued at $150. Together, we will evaluate your current dream situation and make a plan for better remembering and understanding your dreams. Use the form below this video to book a spot on my calendar. So having made the commitment, that decision to take your dreams seriously and learn from them, there are a few tips that will set the stage for your dreaming world. The first thing for you to try and do is relax before you go to bed. And that means not watching much TV, definitely not watching the news channels that are full of really disturbing images. We don't want to take those images to bed with us, because the images that we're seeing on the screen, we can end up taking to bed and dreaming about, and they're not even our images. We want our own images to arise out of our unconscious. So having primed yourself for a good night's sleep and encouraging your dreams, sometimes it helps to ask for specific information. If you have something on your mind, or a conflict that you're dealing with, maybe a relationship that you're not too sure about, just before you go to sleep at night, ask for clarity. Ask for a dream that might give you some clarity on what's happening. Be sure to take a pen and pencil to bed with you, because if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can wake up remembering vividly a dream that you just came out of. And if you tell yourself, I'll write this down in the morning,
Very often it's just gone in the morning. But if you have a pen and paper at the side of your bed, jot it down, whatever you remember. You can also speak into a microphone. My teacher always used a microphone, and she said that some mornings she would wake up and she was astounded to hear her voice on the microphone because she didn't remember saying what she had said in the night. It's not important that you catch the whole dream. So write down fragments of a dream, if you have fragments, or especially images, because those images are going to tell you a lot over time about what is going on in your unconscious mind. I had an image in a dream maybe a month or so ago of one of those prickly balls that you use to help with anxiety that you put in your hand and squeeze, or I think they can be used on the soles of your feet. And I was captured by that image because it was speaking to me in some way. So I immediately went out on Amazon to buy one of those little balls. And I'm learning so much about myself just from that act. So it doesn't have to be a whole dream. It doesn't matter what it's connected to. If it's something that grabs your attention, write it down or draw it. And we'll talk about that in a later class. Another thing you can do is to consider using an oil diffuser in your room while you're sleeping. Sometimes this can it's just another sense that the sense of smell may kind of encourage those dreams to come out of hiding. Take what's on the paper that you wrote at night and flesh the dream out as much as you can. And what you might find when you're writing about it is more and more details come to you. But at that point you might question yourself and you might think, I'm just making this up. You're not making it up because it's still coming out of your unconscious. So it doesn't matter if it's not exactly the same as what you dreamt. You're tapping into material that's going to help you once we start trying to understand it. So if you repeat these same steps every night, over and over again, eventually you will have a dream. Don't give up. It's important to hang in there and trust that the dream maker is going to provide you with a dream. Something happens in our everyday life that triggers the unconscious to give us a dream. That dream is going to give us a lot of information. So it's really important to remember what was going on in my life a couple of days before I had this dream to prompt it. Where this information can be crucial is people who maybe find themselves in abusive relationships over and over again. The dream world can help us explore those relationships, help us take responsibility for our part. Why did I attract this person to me? And ask questions that we didn't ask at the time. And we grow from this because we learn more about ourselves and we're more ready to recognize red flags in the future when we see them. So dreams are always in a story form. Present pictures, they're in this symbolic language in a story form that has a cast of characters and a plot, like a play, like a Broadway play. So there's an introduction and the plot builds to a climax and then it starts going back down and then there's a resolution at the end of the dream. And the end of the dream is important because it shows us where the energy wants to go. Not where it is now, but where it wants to go. So it always points to the future. I want to quote my teacher, Marion Woodman, a Jungian analyst who sadly is no longer living. And she said the following about dreams. God is the dream maker revealed through the dream. And dreams are the language of the soul. And what that tells us is that when we step on this path, we're embarking on a spiritual and psychological journey. And it's a sacred journey. So know that,
having made the commitment to start understanding your dreams, know that it's the beginning of an inner journey. And also know that you will be accompanied by your own divine self, who really comes to us through our dreams. And as Carl Jung said, we're always evolving towards wholeness. Why is it important to pay attention to our dreams, and what can I learn from them? Dreams provide growth and understanding, and they do it by pointing out things that are getting in our way. Maybe the way we look at things, parts of ourselves that we're not aware of that sabotage our life. If you have a dream of a childhood home, that's really significant because something happened the day before to cause you to be kind of triggered with a memory from your childhood. And it tells us a lot because some of these memories we think are dead and gone, but they're never dead and gone. And what happens is we can see the progression and the knowledge grow the more we work with our dreams. And this is a slow process, but if we maybe think about being mindful of changing one thing in our life or looking at things a slightly different way, we'll notice that this shows up in our dreams. So we're able to see progress as we move forward. The second thing that dreams offer us is a deep wisdom, and they do this by the symbols they use and the language they present things to us. And if you can imagine sometimes how you may have felt when you looked at a really beautiful sunset, or you listened to an amazing piece of music, you look at a piece of art that takes your breath away. Dreams speak to us in the same language that those creative expressions speak to us. And there's huge wisdom in that. Dreams come to us not from our heads, but from our body, soul, or our hearts. The third thing is they function as an excellent GPS system. And sometimes we wouldn't think of taking a long trip unless we have our phones and our GPS system to help us find the way there. But with something like our lives that can be so challenging and chaotic at times, very few people know that we actually do have our own inner GPS system, and it's available at no charge. I had a dream when I was 20 or 21 and was unable to decide between living in the UK, which is where I was born and grew up, and moving to Canada. And then I asked for a dream to get some clarity about what does my future hold and what is the path I should be taking here. I woke up, I was actually sleeping at my grandmother's house, which is also significant because the personal grandmother is like the great mother, Mother Earth. And I had a dream that was so vivid. I woke up in the morning knowing that I had to move to Canada. And it was actually a dream that gave me two directions that I could take. And at the end of one of the directions, I walked into this beautiful field full of blue flowers and just ran through the field with such a sense of freedom, and I knew that that's what I wanted. So you can see this is all symbolic language, and we're going to talk more about that. If you decide that you want to explore your images, it's really important what they say to you, and to keep that in mind because they're unique. They're your images, they're nobody else's images, and they will say different things to you than they say to other people. Another thing that dreams do is they balance our unconscious and our conscious lives. We virtually kind of live our everyday life on only 20% of what's going on in our psyche. So I'll give you an example of this. If we do something that we're really proud of and become really egotistical and inflated, we will have a dream that night that will compensate for that inflation. My teacher always used to say, we'll have a dream that's going to give us a kick in the pants. So that constantly our psyche and our dreams are stabilizing our inner world and with our outside world. And we need that, especially in today's times. The last advantage that I want to talk about, but there are many more that we can't fit into this short introduction, is that dreams are portals to at least 4 different worlds. The first one is the world of the past. As I mentioned before, if the setting of a dream is very important, and if it goes back to your past, that's significant. So a dream of your childhood means that you're being taken back to your childhood. A dream of a situation maybe in a previous marriage, it could be 20 years ago, 10 years ago, is pointing out there is unfinished business here in this relationship. I can give you an example here of a client of mine who's given me permission to use her dream. She was in her 50s and trying to juggle a full-time job with a nursing school degree. She was changing careers. She was extremely stressed out. And one day she had this dream that she was taking a walk with her friend around the friend's neighborhood. And on the way home, she noticed a FedEx van in the driveway of her friend's house. So she was intrigued by this, and when they got to the home, they talked to the FedEx guy, and he gave her this huge package that was like five feet long in a box. So she unwrapped it, and in it was a flute. And it was one of those, I wasn't familiar with them, but apparently you can get almost life-size flutes. And I asked her about this flute, and it opened a flood of memories of when she was in college, and she played the flute, and she was planning a future as a symphony flutist. Everything was going so well for her. She was highly valued and respected for her skill with the flute, and she was in college and she had a good community of friends around her. So we had to ask the question, why did this flute show up in her life now that was very stressful, and why was this dream given to her? And the more we talked, to me it was astounding, because it was a huge gift for her, because she went on to tell me that she never became a symphony flutist because her boyfriend at the time told her, you have a choice. It's either me or the flute. And she actually chose the boyfriend. So there were a lot of feelings connected with that. I can feel them as I relate this now, a lot of sadness, grief really. But what we were able to see was how much that time in her life and that flute contributed to her sense of worth, her sense of self-esteem, her value as a person. And she had never found anything since then that gave her that kind of feeling about herself. So I immediately gently suggested that she revisit playing the flute, which she did. And to this day, she plays the flute, and she was getting lessons, and she was reliving this part of her life that she left behind, 40 or 50 years prior. So the second world that dreams will take us to is the world of the future. And this shows up in premonitions, glimpses of the future that we might not realize is the future at the time, but we can live actually into it. And someday we may have an aha moment when we say, oh my goodness, I dreamt about this 2 months ago or 3 months ago or whatever. People have decided not to take planes or go on a trip or make a huge decision because of a dream they have. So that's always important to pay attention to. If you have a dream like that, to be able to talk to somebody about it and get to your gut feeling. Is this a message for me, or what else might it be saying? The third world is the world of the body. This is a world that fascinates me because what they're discovering is that illness in the body can be diagnosed long before there's a physical symptom, and long before it will show up on any kind of medical x-ray or machine. If we don't deal with conflict or challenges in our life, it can result in problems with parts of the body. How does the body show up in your dream? It can show up with faulty electrical wiring in your house. The house is often symbolic of the body. So if you do have a dream of electrical outlets not working as they should, or sparking or catching fire, it's really important to look at that. It's like, okay, what's going on in me energetically that could result in some kind of fire, which might be a serious ailment, and to be able to talk about that. If you dream of a problem in the kitchen of your house, it might be a good idea to look at your digestion. How is your digestion working? Or even the food you're eating, is it nourishing? And what is going on physically and emotionally around digestion and food? And you may have a more direct dream where there's a part of your body that you're having problems with. And this is really important to check out, because your body may just be telling you, look here. So I remember one dream of a leg that was gushing blood. And blood is our life force. So we have to look at this symbolically, but we also have to check it out physically. The last world that I want to talk about, where there is a door open to us, is the world of spirit. Sometimes having loved ones who have passed away come back and speak to us in what we think is a dream, but often it's more of a visitation. That's one thing. And we can also have inner guides. Jung, if you read his autobiography called Memories, Dreams and Reflections, he had an inner guide who he called Philemon. And he had long conversations with him, and he saw him as a guide and took his advice, and developed a very close relationship to him. Now, Jung thought that Philemon was a figment of his imagination. He had a guest visit him from India, and the guest said, he is not a figment of your imagination. He was actually in his body decades ago. And Jung was astounded, because he hadn't really conceived that this could be a person who was once living and who was now guiding him through his dreams. It's very important, in my experience, to be able to talk about any kind of strange experience like that, or something going on in your dreams that you don't quite understand, with a dream guide. With our own unconscious, we can't see the wood for the trees. So we have a hard time getting, first of all, we don't have all the knowledge, and we have a hard time getting clarity about what's going on, and somebody else can shine a light for us into some of these dark places or things we've never considered before. Your dream recall and healing plan will be individualized and personal and guided by the content of your dreams. Every person has a unique life experience, so there is no plan that works for everyone. I take into account every person and symbol that shows up in your dreams. Your dream world is unique to you with its own setting, plot, and cast of characters. A dedicated dream guide helps you understand why it's so important to work with your dreams. Your dreams are telling you what is at work in your unconscious. They are completing a partial picture of your waking life, a life which is informed and influenced by the world around you and your personal and cultural conditioning. Dreams are the main piece of the jigsaw puzzle on a journey towards wholeness. If you work with them seriously and over time, you will understand yourself and your journey more clearly, and you will develop an inner strength and insight you can depend on. Your life will be imbued with deeper meaning, and you may find yourself living in a vibrant, three-dimensional world, as opposed to solely a chaotic, senseless outside world. You've already made this first step. You want to understand your dreams. The next step is learning how to get there. With the right dream guide, you can discover why the setting of the dream is important, how the events of the days leading up to the dream influence it, how to understand the symbols and characters in the dream, why certain characters or animals show up in a dream even if they're scary, and what they are trying to tell you, how you may be sabotaging your life and your relationships, how to bring nourishment to the soul and the life you are living, and how to tap into your destiny and how that may be different from how you are now living your life. The right dream path for you is one that no one else has. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to dreams. It's also not a quick fix. We have to live with our dreams and images, sometimes for many years, before we totally understand them. In building relationships with our dream images and characters, we are ultimately deepening the relationship with ourselves. My goal is to teach you the basics of dreams and shine a light on areas you are not even aware of. I do this by asking questions and getting to know you at a very deep level. In doing that, I am also providing you with the tools that you can use moving forward, so ultimately you are building a deeper understanding of your own inner GPS that you can always depend on regardless of what's going on in the outside world. Have I provided you with enough encouragement for you to start exploring your dreams? If the answer is yes, go ahead and grab a spot on my calendar to reserve a day and time that works best for you. On our call, I'll learn more about you, your current dream situation, and make a plan for better remembering and understanding your dreams. And be sure to sign up for my newsletter to be the first to know when new courses are released and to receive other helpful information about the importance of dreams and dream therapy. Thanks for watching today.